Hi guys, it's Nina from VR Focus. Today I wanted to talk about VR arcades and why they're important. So you've heard about virtual reality or VR, or maybe you've heard about sort of the Oculus Rift or the HTC Vive, or maybe you've got friends who heard through the New York Times or the Guardian about these Google Cardboard headsets. But where do you actually go to try virtual reality if it's too expensive? Your friend might own like a PlayStation VR, but maybe you don't like the games they play. When it comes to virtual reality, I have a lot of problems trying to describe it to people. The way I usually try to describe it, saying it's kind of like going into a dream, or it's like you take a drug and you end up in like an Alice in Wonderland type of world. So it's like diving into a dream. But that's kind of difficult to explain to people, and everybody dreams differently and everyone perceives everything differently. It is so difficult to explain to people what virtual reality is, and the only way to do it is to put them into a virtual world with a VR headset. What's happening right now in China and in Asia and in Japan, there are a lot of VR arcades cropping up again. Back in the day, maybe when you're a little bit older, you might have gone to the arcades as a child and played lots and lots of games. But nowadays, no one really goes to the arcades anymore because it's not really a thing. Like, there's not a lot of arcades or areas that you go to play video games. You stay at home, you play video games at home on your phone. What's also quite fun about VR arcades is that not only is it social, but you can also potentially play with other people in the same space. And you can go in with 4 or 5 people. It's also a great introduction to someone who's never tried VR before, wants to try it out with friends. If it does have mixed reality, your friends were able to see what you're doing, and it's not so isolating, and it could draw a crowd because people actually know what you're doing. If you're hitting, dancing, or doing something, it's a lot of fun. And this can be used for all types of games. It could be used for shooting games, it could be used for running games, it could be used for dancing games. Any game that is social, that's co-op, I think could be a huge hit. And you can see the proof of VR arcades popping up all around the world to accommodate this. But when it comes to virtual reality arcades, I think it's really interesting and really important. I did a VR arcade game jam kind of a few months ago, and one of the things that's really important is that the game developers who build the game have to get credit for it, or they must get some type of revenue for the amount of work that they do. Because you can't just have like several Steam accounts and play the game over and over and over again because you're a business. You're making money off of it. So that is one thing I think is really important. If you're a customer, if you're going to a VR arcade, make sure that the game that you're playing, that the money that they're earning also kind of goes to the developers, because I think that's really important. There's a lot of indie games that could become really popular and work very well in the multiplayer and a social VR arcade aspect, and they should definitely be recognized. If you go to the website and the article that this video is embedded in, so if you look that up, if you're watching this on YouTube, I've compiled a list of all of the areas where there are VR arcades in Europe and in Asia and in America. And if you see any VR arcades popping up or around, add them to the comment sections below, and like maybe you could meet some other VR enthusiasts and play some VR games with them, and that would be pretty super exciting. If you've got a VR arcade opening up a shop around you, let us know. Or if you're setting one up, tell everybody, and then we might put a little like blurb out saying, hey, there's a new VR arcade in town and this is where you can go and find them. So please do that in the comment sections below, and I will see you next time.